Okay, we got it. So this is hi. For those of you who don't know me watching the replay, I'm Renee Varnador, and I do soul potter journeys out of Facebook, and that's the name of my business. And there's Lupe. So we're all here. We're looking at the essence. Everybody wants to know what's your sun, moon, and rising sign. That's the essence of your chart. So a lot of times people get confused when they see all the planets in there. So we're just looking at the big three and seeing what kind of chart patterns that big three make. And we're looking at, what the essence of the signs are as your sun, moon, and rising move through the signs. So for those of you who know me, know that I like to sing in the archangels. So I have a little handout here that has the words to it. So here we are. This is what we're doing. Sun, moon, rising sign. The essence of you. Boil it down to just 3 parts, if that's possible. Okay, so figure out where east is for you, because we're going to bring in divine support. So I'm facing east, and then I'm going to go south, west, north, below, above, within. So here we go. Spirits of the east, air and inspiration, Archangel Raphael, please come. Archangel Michael, please come. West, Angel Gabriel, please come. Spirit, Angel Gabriel, Reality, Archangel Sandalphon, please come. Spirits of perspective change, Archangel Raphael, please come. Spirits of within, Johanna, please come. Okay, so just so you know, because we're working with sun, moon, and rising sign, Archangel Hanael is the archangel related to the moon. She's related to the high priestess in the tarot deck, and she's related to the moon and related to the sign of Cancer. So that's Archangel Haniel. And so we brought her into the heart space. But if I follow a couple different people that do embodied astrology, and one person put the moon at the third eye, and another person put the moon at the sacral chakra, which kind of makes sense, seeing that at the new moon ceremony, we're always looking for planting seeds. And when we plant seeds, we're planting them in the sacral chakra. So think about which one of those 3, if you're going to embody the planetary bodies, the luminaries, we're mostly looking at luminaries today. Where are they in your body? It doesn't matter what a bunch of other people say. Where is the moon for you? I mean, the first time I got a visit from the moon, it came right to my heart, because that's what I was paying attention to at the time. So, but it kind of feels interesting to think about where the moon is. And then the sun, we're looking at the daytime luminary, the big luminary that our planet revolves around, and that we also we called in Archangel Uriel. And Archangel Uriel, most people that think about embodied astrology would agree that Archangel Uriel deals with the solar plexus chakra, and that the sun is the solar plexus chakra. In fact, the solar plexus chakra is named after the sun's soul. So if you can think about, when we're talking about your sun, if you want to practice embodied astrology, if you're looking at me like, Renee, I don't care, don't do it. But if you want to, you like put your hands on your solar plexus while we're talking about your sun, and then put your hands maybe on your sacral chakra when we're talking about your moon. And then when we talk about your rising sign, hey, it could be any of these, because the rising sign is like what stars were just rising above the horizon when you were born. Now, we can't see the stars except at night, and so you might have been born during the early hours of the day, but we can still, your rising sign is those stars that were rising above you when you were born. So if anybody has any questions at any point during this, then please unmute so that I know that you want to talk. So let's get to it by kind of going into what's happening today. This is not what the sky looks like right now, because the ascendant already moved, but it's where the sun is right now, and it's where the moon is right now. And so what happens is the planets that are rising are going to show up in the first house. So this is what everybody sees. And some people call the first house like the mask that you wear. Okay. But it's going around, it's like, it's your personality. And some people call it the ego, and some people give the ego a bad rap, but we need an ego in order to be in the third dimension. So thank you so much. If I didn't have a personality, I wouldn't get out of bed. So we've got the ascendant thing that is all about what stars were rising in your birth chart the moment you were born, the moment you took breath on this planet for yourself, and as a little infant. You're looking at the placement of the sun, moon, rising, and then of course your natal birth chart, your whole birth chart has all of the planets that are also really important. And then of course some astrologers like to look at asteroids and all kinds of other things and points, mathematical points. But astrologers agree that the main three are the sun, moon, and rising sign. So if we're looking at the soul, we want to see the whole chart to see the whole pattern of this life and what your soul came to do and the adventures that you're on. You really need to look at the whole of your whole chart. But if you want to look at the essence, if you want to look at essentially who you are with the luminaries, the sun, moon, and the stars, then you look at these 3 points. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. And you notice that in this little picture of the transit, there's like this goofy looking triangle here. And so what's happening is that if you notice, these are the degrees, and we pay attention to degrees because it's the degrees that create the aspects, and the aspects are the energetic lines between the planetary bodies that you're looking at. So we see that this one's 20, the moon is 20 at 20 degrees right now, and the sun is at 19 degrees, and the sun's pretty much going to be at 19 degrees all day. The moon's going to move out of 20 degrees probably by the time we're done, but the moon's going to stay in Leo. The moon travels really fast and it goes through signs, and sometimes signs really fast, but this one moves like within a couple hours. Every hour you see it moving. So we've got a difficult position between and difficult's the wrong word. It's really challenging because these red lines are what helps you learn, and there are challengers. They're what we came to explore and learn more about. And these blue lines are harmonious, and they're gifts, and they're the universe helping us. And, you know, I like to think of the archangels being the ones helping us, you know, other beings that are powerful in the universe. We can ask for their help. So those are the blue lines, is when we're getting help or when things are going really harmoniously. And then these red lines are the challenges and the lessons. And looking at what those are and getting a clear idea of what the archetypes are for all of these, what the archetype of the sun is, you know, a lot of people in the 70s thought of the sun as the essence of you. And they only looked at your sun sign, and they would publish books about your sun sign and what your sun sign was going through this year. And it never worked for me. And so I thought it was all nonsense, and that people were just trying to divide up the personality into 12 superficial points. And they had all these books with all of these descriptive words for each of the signs, and it just seems superficial. But in 2020 or 2019, I realized that astrologers were really looking at the real deal, really looking at the depth of what the soul actually came here to do, not just what's going on in the personality, not just what's going on in these different areas of life, which are the houses, but what the soul really came to explore and what gifts it came to give. So it's all there in the chart. It's like a little blueprint, a snapshot, a map. So this sun is an essence, and it's like your daytime essence. It's like your 3D essence. It's like what everybody on the planet looks at you and sees. And people would say that about the ascendant too. So that's kind of interesting. But this is how you light that up. So this sun, your sun, is your light for how people are seeing you. So when people say shine your light, what they're saying is they're talking about your sun. Now, the part of you that travels at night in dreams, and maybe some of your dreams you're able to see and know your dreams in waking life, but it's the moon that has the vision and the imaginal realm, which is why some people put it at the brow chakra, because you're really looking at the emotional undercurrents. And when you're looking at emotion, what you're looking at is energetic movement, kind of like a wave. The energies of the moon, it's then, you know, the moon moves really fast through the sky and goes through phases that we can track in each one of these phases. And the phase of the moon when you were born is really important to look at too. And in this transiting today, a little earlier today, there was a trine between the ascendant and the moon. Okay, so I'm going to pause for questions right now. Anybody have a question that they want to ask? Anybody unclear about anything? Okay, so we're going to go on to your charts now that we kind of did an overview of what the basic pieces are. And I basically put them in the order of who contacted me first. And Marilyn was the person who contacted me first. So we're going to do her chart first, but I have everybody that's up here. So we're going to get to everybody. Okay. So Marilyn, the most interesting thing, of course, is this gorgeous, incredible learning experience between the ascendant and your sun. And okay, you've got your ascendant, those stars that were rising in the sky when you were born, in Scorpio, which is the planet of depth and a planet of that. This planet can see in the dark, but it can also sting. So it's you have to be like really careful. You've probably had people thinking that what you said was, you may or may not have had people thinking that what you were saying was either too deep for them or too wounding to them, because Scorpio is so powerful. And Scorpio is a water sign that holds a lot of deep movement and deep emotion that can move through us. And it is in a line, a beautiful line, with the sun in Taurus. And the sun in Taurus is this gorgeous earth sign. And Taurus is, being an earth sign, it is fixed energy and it is grounding energy. So through your life, maybe in your childhood, people would be like, Marilyn said this to me and now I'm hurt. And maybe, you learn to ground all this power and depth that you have into this Taurus sun, so that you can really shine your light by doing things that are like incredibly helpful and practical. So I happen to know you, and so I know that you are of service in charities for people's basic needs. You collect clothes, and you collect and you make sure that people are okay who are marginalized on the border, and you're making sure, and then you're connecting people together. So this sun that you have in the 7th house is the one that's like really looks in a practical way at people and how you can put this one and that one together. And so you have enough depth of seeing, and then Taurus by itself couldn't do what you do. Taurus by itself couldn't see into people and match people up to help each other out. So this is like become like this amazing gift. And then you have this moon over here in Libra, and Libra is an air sign, and it's balance. And it's at 29 degrees, which is the ending point of this sign, which means that you really understand the essence of the sign of Libra. So when you get to a 29 degree, you're really understanding the essence of it, so much so that it takes on a spiritual cast, because it's at the late degrees of the moon. And so when I was talking about how emotional depth of Scorpio, there would be even more depth of emotion if your moon was actually in Scorpio. But your moon is almost in Scorpio. 5 more minutes and you would have a moon at 0 degrees Scorpio. So that there's a little bit of Scorpio moon and emotional depth in your chart, even though we look at this picture and we see the moon in the 12th house of Libra, and being able to see the balance of Libra. And Libra's the one that really helps us create that harmony. And if we look at the rest of your chart, there would be more harmonious aspects, and there would be more learning lines, what I like to call. So any feedback at this point, Marilyn, or any questions that you have, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Renee. I want to tell you 2 things. Once, energy-wise, I just had a phone call. It was your husband.
Oh my gosh.
He wanted information on who's giving Spanish lessons at the border. But I thought, isn't that interesting that the 3 of us all connected as you came on? Okay. And then a little story I'd like to tell you that links into this.
Okay.
I had a woman my mother's age mentor me, but I could never have introduced him because Emily got written up in the London Times as half of the world's only nude mother-son therapy team. And there's a story behind that, but she was considered a little out there. But when she started on her path, the doctor gave her a prescription and she couldn't drink while she was taking the prescription. Sure. And she decided all those people at the Long Beach Yacht Club were very boring when she wasn't drinking. And I've been mostly at home over the holidays because I don't mean to make judgments exactly on other people, but I just needed my own energy, nobody else's. Thank you.
Yep.
You're explaining why.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. These three planets are in the later degrees. So we have the first degrees 1 through 10, and that's physical life. And then the second set of degrees is the mental life. And all of these, the later degrees deal with much more spiritual aspects. So yeah, if you not wanting to go and drink with a bunch of people makes total sense, because you've got to take care of yourself here. And I think a lot of times it takes people a long time to realize that, because they're comparing themselves to all their friends who are running around partying. I know that was true for me. I don't know if that's true for you. But anyway, so that was Marilyn's chart. Thank you, Marilyn, for sharing your chart with us.
Thank you.
And the next chart we're going to look at is Marissa's chart. And Marissa, it's where did it go? Here it is. Okay. So Marissa, if you don't feel comfortable giving feedback, that's fine. But we do want to look at your chart and see if any of the things that I have to say about it resonate. Now, we don't see a big red line like we saw in Marilyn's chart. So your ascendant, your sun, and your moon are not as they're not talking to each other as strongly. But if you look at, I think, yeah, I said, okay, well, she doesn't have any aspect lines. And then I said, and I tried to guess which planet I could add in to like suddenly have aspect lines for these. And then I added in Venus for a second, and Venus was aspected to all three of your ascendant, your moon, and your sun. So what aspect is those lines, okay, those red lines and those blue lines. And so Venus would actually really, it's hard to look at your chart really without Venus, because Venus ties these three together for you. And Venus is the planet that deals with what we value. So keep that in mind as I go through and talk about each of these essential points in your chart. So your sun is in Sagittarius along with your ascendant, but you can see that these are like 13 degrees apart. So I wouldn't really call that a conjunction. It's really kind of a wide orb. And so you might have adventures on a personal level, just kind of like going out and, walking around and going to the mountains, climbing up mountains, going on boats, going out to sea, traveling here, there, everywhere. So your adventures might be very physical, it might be very, very active, and people and there's this Sagittarius, sign of Sagittarius is very fiery. It's a fire element. There's 4 fire elements, 4 waters, 4 airs, and 4 earths. And so you've got a lot of fire in your big 3. And fire is more like a spiritual impulse. It's more spontaneity. So you might spontaneously decide to go do something just for the heck of it. And so both your sun, because your sun's in the first house, it's like you are shining out more. It's like you're letting your light shine. It's like what you are and what people see. For most people, unless their sun's in the first house, they're looking at the ascendant for the most part to say, okay, what do people see when they look at you? And so that's for Marissa, they're seeing you, and it's like your light needs to shine. And that's in conflict really with this moon in the 28 degrees of Capricorn, which is like next to the last degree of Capricorn. So it's Capricorn is really earth mastery. And we've got this 29-degree moon. So it's not that you have these deep emotional watery placements like Marilyn did. You've got much more of a grounded emotional state, and yet there's a sense that you really want to be with somebody. Who left? Okay, that was Marilyn. Marilyn's busy, she's got to go. Okay, so this Capricorn, this earth mastery is an interesting ability to recognize your value, to recognize who you are, and to be able to, if things are going on, if there's drama, to be able to ground it, to be able to not just go out in the world with all this fire, but to also be able to be grounded in your emotional states while you're going on these adventures. So if you take the fire energy and you put it in, let's put your sun energy in your right hand. If you put your Sagittarius sun ascendant energy in your right hand, and then you put your Capricorn emotional earth energy in your other hand, and you would see, you can kind of get a sense of energetically this sense of achievement and stability and maturity in your moon over here in this hand, and then this sense of adventure and moving forward into letting your light shine out more and more and more, and just doing things from a more spontaneous place. And so you just take those two energies and now put them both together. And I like to use my heart chakra because that's the one I have all my wisdom stored in. But if you want to put it in your solar plexus chakra, that would make sense to have the hand for the sun on your solar plexus. You might even put the hand for the moon in the sacral chakra and see if you can feel those energies together. Since we don't really have lines of energy to talk about, we can create lines of energy between those three. So it's something that you can do to create that energy of the chart between these three. So just kind of breathe into that. And then if you want to give feedback, you can, Marissa, you can unmute and talk, or you can leave feedback in the chat for me to look at later. Whatever you feel the most comfortable with is totally fine. Okay, so Marissa's not unmuting, so we're going to, maybe if I ask her, just because I'm asking her doesn't mean you have to. Okay, so it looks like she doesn't want to talk, so that's fine. It's hard for me to see the chat while I'm sharing the screen. So if anybody, but there is something in the chat. So she just thought what I said was interesting, and she's thanking me. So thank you for letting us look at your chart. Our next person we're going to look at is Lupe. So Lupe's right here. And Lupe, it looks like you don't have a line in your chart, but you do. We've got the moon here on Pisces, and this is we had conversations about Lupe's Pisces moon because it's right on the star Fomalhaut. And so we've got your Pisces moon here at 2 degrees, and even though this is a wide aspect, there's 6 degrees difference between this moon and this sun. This creates a square. So if you take this all the way to the center and you take this all the way to the center, what you've got is you've got a pretty close to a 90 degrees of the moon and the sun squaring. And you've got the sign of Pisces is the sign of the ocean, and it's very sensitive. Water, emotion. People probably have called you sensitive most of your life, especially since you also have this ascendant in Pisces. And so people are really seeing that. Sometimes people can hide their moon from other people, and just, just the people that know them emotionally would see it. But you've got, even though these two are not conjunct, the degrees aren't that close. You have a lot of Pisces sensitivity that people look at you and they will see that. Even though you're out there being your Gemini sun. And Gemini, of course, is the air sign, and it's the essence of just going out there and just being, just having so many different ideas and so many things that you want to do, and just the thoughts coming to you, and just wanting a lot of knowledge and asking a lot of questions and trying to figure stuff out. And it's really hard when it's more of a challenge to do that when your moon is square your sun. So it's more of a challenge. So it's not easy for you. It's not easy for you to move through all your sensitivity, and shine through. It's not easy for you to put everything together. But once you do, wow, that's incredible, because you've got all of this knowledge that that in a deep Piscean sensitive place. So again, so we can think about putting your moon in your left hand. This would be the receptive hand. I'm giving the moon the job of going into the left hand. This is our receiving hand. So we're receiving some Pisces sensitivity here, and some intuition here. So I know you're developing your intuition too. So we can put that here in your Pisces moon, very spiritual. This is you talking to your angels right here in your left hand, all of these, both of these. And then we've got the sun in your right hand with just tons of information and knowledge coming through in this 8 degrees of the sun in Gemini. So we just feel that fun. I mean, Lupe has more fun. When I get in a car with Lupe, she has more fun than anybody I've ever seen go in a car. And that is your Gemini sun, that is just like, making everybody laugh and just having a good time. And so that's that. And there's a little bit of that little trickster energy here, but you use it in beautiful ways. And so I'm seeing your car full of angels, those little angels you create and stuff. So if you can kind of see that as you're trying to figure out this sun and this moon, this learning thing that you're energetically going through, with the way that the fun sun and the sensitive nature, how you can put together and have fun with your angels, have fun with your intuition. And I think by creating those little angel things that you do, that's how you get to the essence of fun. So any feedback, Lupe, go ahead and unmute.
Thank you, Renee. It seems like it just, I'm what you said is what I'm doing, what I'm feeling. And so it goes right along with how I am. So it must be telling me that I'm on the right, on the right track.
Yep.
And yeah, I was wondering about that. I've been more, like teary-eyed, but it's not unhappiness. It's a lot of times it's joys, tears of joy that's happening. And we're, well, okay, what now? Now I'm going to have tears of joy.
Hey, don't judge it. It's a gift. It's a gift. The resolution of this square.
Yeah.
Joy is a
And I'm sure right now my family is seeing my sensitivity, in the Pisces. They're seeing that.
yeah. Well, and they don't have Pisces moon, so they're not as sensitive as you. Poor them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Loopy, for sharing your chart with us. And so now we've got, Dana didn't show up. Is Dana here? No. Okay, she didn't make it. So we're gonna skip her. And right, I'm gonna make sure that nobody else is here. Okay, we've got, and make sure. Okay, so Marissa had to leave, so she had something she had to do. Okay, and Dana didn't come after all, so we're looking at Julia now. So Julia is interesting. So you don't see any aspect lines in her chart to look at the energies between these sun, moon, and rising sign, but look what we do have. This is 29 degrees, 3 degrees, and 5 degrees. So you can see right away that these two signs, the ascendant and the sun, are really close together. So they're like conjunct in Sagittarius, in the first house. So Julia, if anybody that knows Julia knows that she walks into a place and lights up the whole room. So people see her do that. Her son's in the first house. So she's got all of this adventure. But what you may not realize is that this moon at 29 degrees Scorpio is really, really close to the 3 degrees ascendant. In fact, it's within 4 degrees. So that's considered by astrologers a conjunction. So all three of your big three are all smooshed up together talking to each other, Julia. So you've got this big, and people walk in, Julia walks in and people see the sunshine, but do they really know about this huge depth at 29 degrees of Scorpio moon? Do they know how intuitive you are? Do they know how deep you can go when they are looking at a person that's just like light and adventurous and goes all over the world and tries to communicate with people out there and about different cultures, and she's like helping us communicate with biculturally or triculturally or however many culturally, she's bilingual, of course, and she's living in a country that's not her native country. And she's been all over the country. She's been all over the world. When I first met her, she was in Russia. So that's one of the things we talked about, Sagittarius being fiery and Scorpio being deep. And she's got them all clumped up together. So Julia, if you just kind of want to, instead of having your if you kind of just want to create like a chalice for yourself, a chalice with holding deep water with fiery flames coming out of it. That's the image I get for you if I'm trying to figure out the energy of your chart. So if you just kind of, wherever you feel, you might want to place that chalice, whether you want to place that chalice at your sacral chakra, or if you want to place it at your heart chakra, or whether you want to place that sacral chakra at your brow chakra and have the cup of the chalice and then the stem of the chalice going down to the next chakra, and see what that feels like to have that deep cup with the fire. So any feedback, Julia? Julia's unmuted. She's ready to tell me how the cow at the cabbage. What's going on, Julia?
Well, I love the imagery that you show, the water and the fire. And yeah. I think that I feel both of those sometimes. sometimes the water drowns the fire, but sometimes the fire makes steam out of the water. So
Yeah, that makes sense. So you got it all happening. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting that you've got all of that going on. And
yeah,
now it makes a little more sense, maybe.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Renee. Really appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing your chart with us because it's very
And
interesting.
I'm actually visiting a friend out of town, so I'm going to have to go. But this is really, it's interesting hearing everybody. So
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see because we're all unique, we're all different. There's, no two charts are the same. So how can we compare ourselves to anyone else? How can we need to be us. We need to be the essence of us, not somebody else. So yeah, thank you for hanging out and looking at other people's charts because that's what I hope we see when we do that. So thank you for coming, Julia. I appreciate you. And now we've got Bunny. And we're looking at Bonnie's chart now. Bonnie's big three. So we see a line here, this blue line. And remember, the blue lines are the woohoo, harmonious gifts, So you've got two earth signs. Okay. You've got the Virgo here as your ascendant. So in the first, well, the ascendant's always in the first house. Okay. But people see you as somebody that's meticulous and practical and can get the job done, but in a spiritual dimension. So she's at the later degrees of Virgo here, the 23 degrees. And so she's got, a little more intention to create things that are based on wisdom, or to write things that are going to help people with their spiritual wisdom, as opposed to writing recipes, which would also be helpful, but that would be if the ascendant was in earlier degrees. So there's Bonnie. And then she's got a moon in a very grounded Taurus sign, actually, this is loving the earth. This is like remembering to walk barefoot on the grass, on the earth. Of course, you can't do that right now. Bonnie lives in Canada. So, but it's just the idea that, but Lupe gave me an idea. She said, I brought rocks into my house and I can put my feet on rocks and that's how I can ground. So Bonnie, there's an idea for you from Lupe that might be helpful, because then you're Taurian. I hope you have plants in your house at least in the winter time. So she's nodding her head. So that's good, because all of that, the plants and the nature, bringing it inside the house, especially when you've got long winters, is important for you, to help you ground emotionally. And it's supportive, especially if you're going through difficult things, to have those plants around you, or those flowers around you, or those or putting your feet on some rocks, or holding even some crystals, like if you have crystals that feel grounding. So this is your moon is really helping your practical earth moon and emotions, and your practical earth wisdom are really, really working together. It's like this beautiful gift. So, and then your sun's over here in the middle of Libra. So if you've got from 0 degrees to 30 degrees is the range of these degrees. And if you've got the Libra in the middle, then that's like a balance. And so a Libra sun in the second house is you light up and you think about, what do I value? What do I value? Not what everybody else values. What do I value? and you put that, what you value, into a balance. So that's what's going on with the sun, and the sun and the essence. And people look at Bonnie. I think people could look at Bonnie as a mediator, as somebody who's diplomatic, as somebody that goes in and very sweetly and kindly tells people how, what they really need to do. Very smart. Libra's an air sign. There's a lot of intellectual capability that's very, very practical here with these big threes. But if you want to like energetically look at the ascendant in Virgo, we can put the ascendant in your right hand and put your moon Taurus in your other hand, and you can just feel this sense of earth. It's almost like you have your feet on two different rocks, or your hands on two different crystals. So that's what I would give you as an image. It's just like having 2 feet on your rocks, or holding 2 crystals, just to feel that grounded earth energy when you need to, just holding that, and just feeling the gift that the Taurus moon is giving to this, the starry, the stars that were rising at your birth. So just feeling that grounded, beautiful, amazing, practical spirituality right there in the chart. So any comment, any feedback from Bunny?
That's so interesting. Thank you.
Mhm.
As I have known for a long time, I'm a Libra air sign, and I have thought with an air sign, it's really, I have to pay attention to be grounded, but maybe I don't. Maybe it comes naturally.
Yeah, I mean, there's a gift in life, so check it out. We really have to look at the rest of your chart, but just check out if you want to do that practice of just grounding.
Yeah, that's such a great image.
Mhm.
And you're right, in the wintertime,
Yeah, snow.
never mind. But yeah, well, it's a perspective that's never occurred to me before. Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for sharing your chart with us. I really appreciate that, Bunny. And now we've got Melanie, and let's see. So Melanie is our last one, so we're going to have plenty of time. If you guys are thinking you might want to work with me further, I have a thing to share right after we do Melanie's chart, a program that I just launched, and we can take a look at that if you want. But we're right now we're looking at Melanie's chart, and we can see that her ascendant is in Pisces, and we talked a lot about Pisces. Pisces is the really, really spiritual house. It's a house full of intuition, and she's got it in the later degrees. So it's spiritual in the first house. So I wouldn't be surprised if when people had spiritual things that they wanted to talk about, that they sought Melanie out to talk about things like that. And if I look behind her, I can see evidence that just might be true for what she's got in the background there. So this is 24 degrees Pisces, and she's got the sun in the 12th house in Aquarius right next to each other. So it's really hard for her ascendant, for her Piscesness, for her personality to meet with, that the light that she's bringing. So it's hard for her to see sometimes the light she's bringing, and for people to see that. It's really easy to hide your light if you've got your sun in the 12th house. But the doors are flying open in the age of Aquarius, which is at this point in history easier for the light to come out and shine. So easier for it. And how is your light going to shine? Well, as a mid-degree Aquarian, you probably understand a lot of what's happening. Like, okay, what is the age of Aquarius? What in the heck? You know, we're in a big transition. What's being created? What's going on? So a lot of people are looking for answers. And once you figure out the answers for you, for what the heck's going on in the age of Aquarius, then a lot of people will be really interested. Now you look old enough to have your moon, your progressed moon is probably either in Pisces now, or it may have even moved into Aries. I don't know, I didn't look. But there's deep dimensions of the chart that are layered, and the sun does move. When the sun moves out of the progressed sun, is 1 day equals 1 year. And so what happens is that our progressed sun is giving us more information because it's in the first house or the second house than maybe when we were younger. There's just like a, I don't know, like something's going on, but I don't know what it is. And so it's like, as you grow and you move through 30 degree, like if you move through the whole 30 degrees, by the time you're 30, your sun has moved. Or I think it looks like when you were 14, your sun moved into Pisces, and then 30, when you get to be 44, your sun will have moved, your progressed sun will have moved into Aries. So, and then it's like more action of what was going on in this deep Piscean spiritual first house. So that's kind of what you get to look forward to, is more of being able to shine the light on the Aquarian age at a soul level. I think of the progressed chart as a soul level. Some people see it as an emotional level or a psychological level. They're looking at psyche and they're looking at archetypes, but I think of it as a soul level. So take whichever of those resonates for you. And then your moon over here in Cancer, the moon loves being in Cancer. That's the moon's home sign. And saving grace, this is in the 5th house. So this right here, it doesn't look like much fun, but thank goodness you have your moon in the 5th house, because the 5th house is the house of creativity. So whatever expression you're going to give to this sun in the 12th house, to this ascendant in Pisces, whatever expression you're going to give, be great if it was creative, like being really, really intuitive in a creative way. And so the sun loves being in Cancer. Cancer and the sun just really, really love each other. And this is in the Cancer's sign. It likes the 4th house of home and family, but this is the house of children. So you may either have children or nieces and nephews, or teaching school, teaching kids. There's a lot of creativity. It's more fun. It's like it's more fun to teach creativity to kids sometimes, because they're just more spontaneous and open and intuitive, and some of them are still speaking their wisdom that just kind of comes out, and then they don't even remember what they said half the time. But so we've got some different interesting energies. So if we can just take for granted that the progressed sun moved into Pisces, we can put that in one hand, and we can put the Cancer in moon in the other hand, and we can just place this Piscean and Cancer watery. Cancer is nurturing, and Pisces has all of these mysterious depths, and we're just placing those two together in each hand. And then as we bring those two energies together, casting the light, okay, from the mind, with the, Aquarius is very, very the mind, and bringing those together. I would even put go to the third eye with that. and all of these energies, this Pisces, this Cancer, and this Aquarian vision. And so letting the Pisces ascendant and the Cancer moon come together in the third eye for this vision of what in the heck is the age of Aquarius. So I'll leave that with you, and if you want to give any feedback on what you think of Melanie, thank you for unmuting.
Hi, yes, hi all. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, I've had a rough ride with all of these energies, you know, especially when I was younger. I really didn't know what the heck was going on, you know.
Well,
Or
that's
to-
fun, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's like I was born with just the knowing, just being awake of everything, of knowing the age of Aquarius, but conflicting these different energies together, you know, of the all the feelings. And it's almost like Lupe said, you know, the if I could just transmute it into tears of joy. But you know,
Yeah. Mhm.
it's not always that easy. I was
Mhm.
writing down something I wanted. Yeah, lots of confusion while I was young, especially. But
Mhm.
wow, you've really given me spiritual chills. If I can just kind of bring it all together, you know, like you
Yeah.
say, that would really help. But I do feel that it's easier now to bring in the light,
Yeah.
as it felt impossible. It felt like I didn't know how to bring all the energies together. And something really changed when I had my daughter.
Mhm.
It's like
Okay.
that nurturing of being a mother is
Mhm.
what started bringing it all together. And it was a massive fight, you know, inside myself. Interesting.
Yeah, because there it is right there in the chart.
Yeah.
How old were you when you had your daughter?
She's turning 6 now, so that's I'm 14 now, so 34.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you had when your progressed sun was in Pisces, you had your daughter. So that's really, wow, your daughter's so lucky. She's having all of this intuitive, beautiful, sensitive energy,
And
nurturing.
she's Aquarius as well.
Okay.
My poor husband.
There you
Oh,
go. So more motivation to figure out what the heck's going on with Aquarius. One of the things about, besides being a visionary and an air sign, which is intellectual, you know, Aquarius is also very collaborative. So setting up play dates for her with people so that she can collaborate on projects with, you know, not everybody likes working on collaborative projects, but that work for everyone. But that's what, you know, a lot of what Aquarius likes to
yeah,
do.
and our charts are so similar. Her ascendant is Cancer as well.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it gets crazier.
you're the
And you know,
perfect mother for
people are
her.
not very open to what I ever have to say. I just can't stop myself talking about spiritual stuff straight away. And
Yeah.
most of my life, people have just looked at me like, what planet is she from? You know, people are not open to all the things I want to talk about, and I can't help myself. I
Right.
can't stop it.
Right.
So
Right.
funny.
So the idea there is to find your tribe, find your group of people that are deep and want to talk about the stuff you want to talk about. You want to talk
Yeah.
about spiritual stuff. You want to go deep. Find people that also do that.
I'm trying, but I'm trying to figure out there might be a block with that because I don't attract those people. Maybe I wasn't ready yet. I feel the energies are changing, but yeah, it's probably,
Yeah, things are opening more, people are realizing more, people are starting to get more downloads, people are opening. So if you can stay on the call, I can give you some possible Facebook groups and possible things to do. But I mean, I'm going to recommend right now to join Soul Portal Journey Sisterhood. And so Lupe and Bonnie, you guys are both in that group. What do you think? Do you think Melanie should join Soul Portal Journey Sisterhood? Would that be any help with her at all? No, I'm not getting any feedback.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's just like, She seems to be a very positive person and somebody I would really like to listen to.
There you go. You got it from Lupe.
Wow,
So
someone
you
wants to
might-
listen to me. That's new.
Yeah. Lupe, yeah, so that's good.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Mhm.
Lots of blessings to you all.
Okay. So, okay, so we didn't I thought we might see those people. So, for people, this piece right here is for people that are watching the replay, but I have something I want to offer to Melanie in a minute. But for people watching this replay who didn't get their chart, it to me, and didn't get to look at their sun, moon, and rising sign, I am offering the ability to schedule a consult with me for 30 minutes. This is the link to my calendar to really look at your sun, moon, and rising sign, and to figure out how we kind of really looked at how to look at the energy of those three big ones for each person. So I'm going to I'm copied these links, and I'm going to put the links in the chat here. But for people that are watching the replay, it's going to just hit show more if you are watching this on if you're watching this on YouTube. Just hit the button that show more, and then if you're looking at Facebook, if you're looking at this in the Facebook group Soul Portal Journey Sisterhood, then click on it and look more into what's going on, because there's a package that I'm promoting right now. These are things that we're going to be doing, but there's a package. Let me stop sharing this and start sharing. This is I'm going to share the other one. Thank you for being patient. So this is the package that I'm working on. The essence, so it's the essence of you, soul reading astrology, and I'm putting it out there. It's like the nectar of you. It's like for the essence, the essence of the sun is kind of like the nectar that you are being able to suck up from the flowers, and to be able to really see not just your big three, but your whole chart, and where those planets are related to the stars in the sky, and being able to translate your soul language. And like astrology is like a soul language. I have single sessions, and I have packages where we're looking at all of the things in different ways, where we're looking at energies. We're not only understanding, like you could go to any astrologer and understand intellectually what's going on in the chart and what all the glyphs mean and what the planets are and what the signs are. But then we go deeper into the soul level, like we were talking about the progressed chart that moves from the 12th house into the first house and the second house, because life can be tough in the early years until that progressed sun moves and you start to get more of an idea of what's going on. So looking at that would be like the second session. And then looking at session 3, a lot of times we'll look at the tarot, we'll look at meditations, we'll look at traveling into where your stars are, because we can also look at the points not only of the planets, but how the planets relate to the different stars in the sky. Like I mentioned that Lupe's got the star Fomalhaut right on her moon, and that's really, really powerful, because we really have a moving scripture in the heavens when we're looking at our astrology. So what I do is I translate the cosmic language of astrology so that each one of us can move into more of the truth of who we really are. And if this is a lot for you, it's like you don't just want to oh yeah, that's no big deal, let me just pay for that right now. That's why I've got these consults for people to really see, is this something I really want to do? Do I really want to explore deeply my chart in because I like talking to people deeply. And so I want to work with people that are not going to commit to one reading, but commit to a package of 3 to go deeper, deeper, deeper. And so this is open to anybody listening to the replay, and I'm extending this to you, Melanie, if you want to talk about what it might be like to work with me for any length of time. So I'm going to stop sharing that. I'm just putting that offer on the table. And Lupe and Bonnie, you've both had astrology readings from me where I've looked at your whole chart. Do you have any feedback that you want to tell the people that may be listening to the replay, or either one of you want to say anything? Lupe, go. Thank you.
Well, what I just read through Christmas really instilled in me when you did my whole astrology reading. I always thought that family was important, and that was my focus. And also being a teacher, healing, or being an ex-nurse, it's always been important to me. But I never knew why. I mean, when somebody first told me about the licensed vocational nurse program, I never thought I'd go to college, but I thought it called to me. I never even thought of being a nurse, but it just called to me.
Yeah.
And as far as my family is concerned, well, that has been important to me. And I remember every Christmas when I go see family, because I don't see them that often, but every Christmas, it's like I rejuvenate. I just rejuvenate. And you brought that out. It was like a validation for me. And it's been a very loving, validation, a very strong one. And I really appreciate that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lupe. Thank you. Okay, so if there's no other comments, what we do at the end is we sing. At the end of all my classes, I'm not ending the meeting. Why does it think I'm ending the meeting? Okay, I'm going to share the words to the song that we always end with. I also want to say that we are doing we're doing a new moon ceremony on the 23rd at noon, and we're doing a full moon ceremony on February 3rd at 4 p.m. So if you want to be on my email list, my email will be in the comments. If you want to join Soul Portal Journey Sisterhood, that link will be in the YouTube comments. So here's our song. This is our ending song. And if we want to we have all this energy in our hands, but if we want to think about all the people that were here, Marissa was here, Julia was here, Marilyn is still here somewhere. Well, we've got all of these people. There, she's waving. Okay, so Bonnie, Lupe, Melanie, people that may be watching the replay who thought they were going to come. So just imagine that we're all in a big circle, a big energetic circle, and we're all holding hands as we sing. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace. Okay, thank you.